Assalamu alaikum students. Today we'll be studying adrenal medullary hormones. The hormones of adrenal medulla are three types of hormones. They are dopamine, norepinephrine, and epinephrine. They are collectively known as catecholamines. Norepinephrine is also known as noradrenaline, and epinephrine is also known as adrenaline. They are produced as a result of coordinated responses to prepare the individual for emergency situations and are called fight or flight reactions. This means that when your heart is sinking, when you have lots of blood loss, you are going into a hypovolemic shock, your cardiac activity is being compromised. These are the hormones that will help you in getting towards life again. So that's the meaning of fight or flight. That means they help you to fight the dire emergency and then come towards life, the usual activities. So the catecholamine synthesis, how they are synthesized is they are synthesized from tyrosine. Okay, there are different steps that in which they are formed. The first step is hydroxylation of tyrosine. So the hydroxylation of tyrosine takes place by the enzyme tyrosine hydroxylase. Tyrosine hydroxylase, which is abundant in CNS and adrenal medulla. So the hydroxylation takes place and it is converted into DOPA. So the the second reaction is the decarboxylation of DOPA. So the decarboxylation of DOPA requires B6 as a coenzyme. The carbon dioxide is removed, as the reaction says, and the enzyme that is used is DOPA decarboxylase. So from DOPA you make dopamine by decarboxylation. The third reaction is formation of norepinephrine. So via dopamine beta hydroxylase, again the hydroxylation takes place using vitamin C and calcium, and dopamine is converted into norepinephrine. Then there is formation of epinephrine by methylation. You know methylation, the methyl donor is SAMs, okay, as adenosylmethionine. So SAM donates the methyl group to and norepinephrine converts into epinephrine. So tyrosine converts into DOPA, DOPA converts into dopamine, dopamine converts into norepinephrine, and norepinephrine converts into epinephrine. The steps are hydroxylation, decarboxylation, hydroxylation, and methylation. So this is how the catecholamines are synthesized. This is a diagram from Lippincott. It shows you the same thing that I've taught you in the flowchart. Tyrosine hydroxylase enzyme converts it into DOPA. DOPA decarboxylase converts into dopamine. Dopamine, again hydroxylation takes place using this vitamin C, copper ascorbate, and it is converted into norepinephrine, and norepinephrine by methylation is converted into epinephrine. So this is the synthesis of the adrenal medullary hormones by tyrosine. Okay, they are stored in the pheochromocytes of adrenal medulla, the cells, in the form of granules. Epinephrine and norepinephrine both are stored in adrenergic neurons as a complex of 4 hormone molecules with 1 ATP molecule in combination with several other proteins like chromogenes A and chromomembrane B. Okay, so they are the epinephrine, norepinephrine, they are in the form of a complex with 4 hormone molecules, 1 ATP molecule, and several other proteins. And they cannot penetrate blood-brain barrier, but only L-DOPA, the levodopa, can penetrate the blood-brain barrier, which is used for synthesis and increases synthesis of catecholamines in Parkinson's disease. So the adrenaline metabolic functions. It promotes glycogenolysis, the glycogen breakdown. It increases gluconeogenesis. Formation of new glucose is enhanced by adrenaline. You need energy, so and during the emergency situation, so glycogen is broken down, new glucose is formed. It favors uptake of amino acids, stimulates fructose 1,6 bisphosphate. It is promoting the gluconeogenesis. Then it enhances release of glycerol through lipolysis. Okay, lipolysis is being formed. Lipolysis is the breakdown of lipids, and that is used for energy also. And then there is decreased activity of PFK, pyruvate kinase, and glucokinase. That means it is inhibiting the glycolysis. In fact, it is actually helping the gluconeogenesis. The mechanism of action is through cyclic AMP, the secondary messenger system, and it also affects the formation of IP3, DAG, and calcium. So the whole system is used for as a mechanism of action. Okay. Now the functions of catecholamines as a whole, they stimulate glycogenolysis, as I've already told you that they stimulate glycogenolysis and thus producing hyperglycemia, and you need glucose in the emergency situation, so that is being used. And they act by CAMP, that I already told you, and they also bind with alpha receptor, increasing the calcium in addition to CAMP, and that also activates the kinase system. In muscles, epinephrine also stimulates glycogenolysis. Glycogen breakdown is happening there also. In heart muscle, it is increasing the CAMP level, cyclic AMP levels within 2 to 4 seconds after the administration of epinephrine. So, epinephrine increases the heart glycogen level. So, this is probably secondary to this hormone action on adipose tissue, causing increased free fatty acids. The fatty acids are used for energy, and glucose is saved to be stored as glycogen. So this is the role of the catecholamines on carbohydrate metabolism. Then epinephrine increases hepatic gluconeogenesis. All key enzymes of gluconeogenesis are increased by epinephrine. Formation of new glucose is taking place. As I already told you, the lipolytic action is of adrenaline, also epinephrine, norepinephrine. Both of them increase breakdown of fats and bringing more free fatty acids. Glycolysis. Epinephrine increases blood lactic level, promoting muscle glycolysis, while norepinephrine has little effect. Epinephrine directly inhibits the release of insulin from beta cells of pancreas. So the hyperglycemia is not being corrected and it's being used for the energy. And epinephrine, norepinephrine, both are potent calorigenic agents, and they increase the metabolic rate of your body. So this is as a whole the functions of catecholamines. You can get this table from Hashmi also. Degradation of catecholamines. So catecholamines are inactivated by oxidative deamination by monoamine oxidase enzyme, and they are also inactivated by methylation or degraded by methylation by catechol O methyl transferase, COMT. Okay, so these two reactions convert the epinephrine and norepinephrine to aldehydes. These aldehydes then further are oxidized to respiratory acids. So metabolic products that are excreted in urine as are VMA, that is vanillyl mandelic acid, metanephrine, and normetanephrine. I also have a diagram for the degradation of catecholamines. Increased epinephrine will cause pheochromocytoma, and norepinephrine will cause neuroblastoma. This is the degradation I was talking about, epinephrine and norepinephrine. When the monoamine oxidase is acting, it is converting it into acid and then into vinyl mandelic acid. When COMT is acting on them, they are converted into metanephrine and normetanephrine and ultimately into VMA. Then dopamine also, when it is acted upon MAO, it is converted into dihydroxyphenyl acetic acid. COMT is acted upon it again, and it is converted into homovanillic acid. And dopamine, when COMT is acting, it converts into 3-methoxyl tyramine and MAOX, and converts it into homovanillic acid. Okay, this. So patients with pheochromocytoma, usually you can see the VMA levels in the urine, and you will see that they are increased, and the patients with pheochromocytomas have this high blood pressure. So neuroblastoma, it is an aggressive childhood malignancy in children up to 5 years of age. Okay, it is a rare disease in which a solid tumor is formed by special nerve cells called neuroblasts. Normally, these immature cells grow and mature into functioning nerve cells, but in neuroblastoma, they become cancer cells instead. So it can be into the you can see it in this mainly a big swelling in the stomach, and then you will see that if you do the biopsy, you'll see that they are neuroblastoma. They can metastasize to other parts also: lymph nodes, skin, liver, bones. They more commonly start in the tissue of adrenal glands, and they have this tendency to get this type of cancer. They can be passed from parent to a child. That's familial type, but most cases aren't inherited. They are sporadic type. So mainly I have seen children being affected by neuroblastoma. Okay. Then pheochromocytoma, here you will have these signs and symptoms. You can have headache, you can have sweating and flushing, you can have anxiety, then you can have nausea, palpitation, chest pain, weakness, some epigastric pain, you can have tremors, you can have increased blood pressure. Okay, so these are the signs and symptoms of pheochromocytoma. You have studied the diseases related to hormones in detail in physiology. So here I am mostly I'm just focusing on the biochemical part of the hormones, that is their action, being how their action can affect the carbohydrates, fats, proteins, metabolism. So next time we'll be studying another hormone, and hopefully you understood. Thank you very much.